to the entertainment Talking Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. Hope everybody's staying safe out there. And in this video, I'm going to kind of jump into the depth chart, specifically at the quarterback position. And it's a question I've been getting asked a lot by a lot of my subscribers. Who will be the New York Giants backup, and how many quarterbacks will the New York Giants roster this year? Of course, the Giants last year were widely criticized by a lot of New York Giants fans on my channel and, outside of my channel, just Giants fans in general, for going with the amount of quarterbacks that they went with. They went with 3. So I went back and I did some research on the 2019 rosters in the NFL and how many teams went with 2 quarterbacks, how many teams went with 3. And to my surprise, it was down the middle. It was a near split. 15 teams last year rostered 3 starting quarterbacks at the beginning of the year. 17 rostered 2. The New York Giants, of course, have a more experienced Daniel Jones. Eli Manning's no longer on the roster. So, will they go with 2 or will they go with 3? They certainly will not go with 4. Well, let's talk about the quarterbacks. Daniel Jones, of course, is going to be the starter. And if any other guys behind him are starting due to an injury or poor play, the Giants are in big trouble. They're all journeymen for a reason. The other 3, of course, being Colt, McCoy, Alex Tanney, who was on the roster last year, and a lot of Giants fans did not like that, and, of course, the newly acquired Cooper Rush. And they're all here for different reasons, in my opinion. The only guy, in my opinion, that could be the number 2 has got to be Colt McCoy for his experience alone. Colt McCoy was a very accomplished quarterback in college with Texas. Hasn't really cut it in the NFL. He's got a career record of 7-21, but he has made 28 starts and nearly 1,000 passing attempts, and he's played within the division. So the only guy I would have any trust at all in throwing footballs for this team, if you had to bench Daniel Jones due to an injury or something along the lines of that, would be Colt McCoy, for the simple reason that the guy has played in the league. Is he the best backup in the world? No, but he's the only guy with some experience. Alex Tanney, I think, is 33 years old. The guy has 14 career passing attempts. Cooper Rush has 3 or maybe 15 career passing attempts. It's either 17 or 18 combined passing attempts between the 2. So neither one of them, in my opinion, will be the primary backup to Daniel Jones. That job will be Colt McCoy's. I don't even think there's any way he could lose that in camp. The question is now, will the Giants go with 3? And if you ask me honestly, yes, they probably will, especially with the expanded roster. Now, according to what I've read on Twitter from, I think it was Art Stapleton, he said it's still 53 where the extra 2 roster spots go are on the practice squad. If that's the case, I still think they will go with 3. I could be wrong, but being that last year they went with 3, being that half the league went with 3 last year, and being that the New York Giants have a new offense this year, that would be the reason to pick Cooper Rush. Of course, the New York Giants used their waiver claim on bringing in Cooper Rush, and a lot of people made fun of that on Twitter. They said this is pathetic. The guy's a third-string quarterback. He might not even make the team. Of course, he was on the Dallas Cowboys last year, but he has familiarity with Jason Garrett and with the system that you would think Garrett's going to implement. Now, some people have suggested you don't know what system Garrett's going to implement, being that he hasn't been an offensive coordinator over the last couple of years. I suppose that's fair. He hasn't called the plays the last few years, but I think we all agree that it will probably be some sort of variation of the Air Coryell offense. And if that's the case, Cooper Rush knows what Jason Garrett wants to run here with the New York Giants. Now, of course, the argument for Alex Tanney would be that he has familiarity with Daniel Jones, and obviously him and Daniel Jones have a very strong working relationship. Daniel Jones spent Thanksgiving dinner with Tanney, but I think that will be will be the fight. It will be over the third quarterback. I do not think it'll be for the backup, and they may not even roster 3 quarterbacks. But the way I look at Tanney, I'm a big baseball fan. I don't know if a lot of my subscribers are, but a lot of times in baseball, you'll have a catcher that is designated to a specific pitcher because they have great chemistry. And the Giants, if they feel that way with Tanney and Daniel Jones, if they elect to go with 3, they may very well, for that reason alone, you want your starting quarterback to be as happy as possible, elect to go with Tanney. However, I think you could certainly make the argument that Cooper Rush adds a lot more value to this football team in the quarterback room, being that he's played for the Dallas Cowboys the last 3 years and learned with Jason Garrett as his head coach. And Garrett's going to want Daniel Jones to get off to as good of a start as he possibly can. And what better than to bring in a guy that's learned your offense over the last 3 years with the Dallas Cowboys. So if it was me, if they're going with 3, I'd rather have Cooper Rush than Alex Tanney. But you do want to make sure that your quarterback is as comfortable as possible. So if Daniel Jones is adamant about keeping Alex Tanney, Alex Tanney will be the third quarterback. But I don't think the Giants would have wasted a waiver acquisition on a guy that they didn't think has a legitimate shot at making this roster. And I don't think that they could rationally think that he could be the second quarterback, being that Colt McCoy's been in the league as long as he has, and the guy has almost 1,000 passing attempts as compared to 3 for that of Cooper Rush. So if you ask me right now, my honest opinion, I think the Giants probably do roster 3 quarterbacks this year. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm surprised. I know in my initial 55-man roster I went with 2, but I would be leaning that they will probably stick with 3, and Cooper Rush will probably be the guy. Now, it definitely could be Tanney. I think we're all rooting for it being Rush, or most people are, at least in my opinion, due to the fact that he has a lot more familiarity with the new offensive system that's being implemented by the New York Giants. But maybe Tanney, being that he's good friends with Daniel Jones, will get that roster spot. Or maybe they'll only go with 2. But if you ask me right now, I think the 3 quarterbacks on opening day will be Daniel Jones at the top, Colt McCoy, and I think Cooper Rush will make this roster. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.